Hey everybody, Joy here. It's Tuesday at 1:20 p.m. on April 13, 2021. And I'm over here in front of my owls on my stool. A lot of you have asked me about this stool. This is called a saddle stool. It is not the most comfortable thing in the world, I can tell you that. But if you were interested in one of these things that rolls around, it rolls real easy. And it goes up and down real easy. But it is not the most comfortable chair. It is for a little while, but then it just starts to push on you too much and it gets painful. So anyway, saddle, stool, you can Google it and I'm sure you can find one. So that's not why I'm here. Some of you have been waiting for me to tell you the awesomeness of our trip that we just took and how it relates to my little chick that knits. I have one daughter. Her name is Tammy. I have one stepdaughter, Jerry's daughter, and her name is Jerry. And we have been estranged from his daughter like forever, and from my daughter off and on, off and on, off and on. And so recently it's been off for quite a while. And so many of you have understood and have been praying, not even knowing what has happened in the past. And what has happened in the past, I can tell you very, very simply what has happened in the past. Okay, I have switched chairs, so maybe I can talk now without twirling around and about falling off the chair. Yes, what happens in so many relationships is some family member that you think loves you and that you think really cares about you and that you think would never lie to you. I don't know if they get jealous or they think they want you to pay more attention to them than the other person, or if they just want to hurt you. I don't know how people do this. I am a very, very honest person myself. So my number one worst fault is person number one tells me person number two something about person number three. And so I immediately contact person number three and start hollering and screaming, and why did you say that? And that was so mean. And so person number three, number one knows that what person number one said isn't true to start with. And so person number three thinks you're mean, horrible, awful, and so they just throw you out of their life. And so now person number two and person number one are just best buds until person number one decides they don't like you any more than person number three, and so person number one starts talking about you to person number three. Are you following this craziness? So this is what's been going on. And there's several, all girls, in this family that have caused this. Huge rifts between people who really love each other. But they tell you something that just hurts so badly that you think you just can't trust that person anymore, that they obviously don't care about you, or why would they have done whatever person number one told you they did? Are you following? It's in your family. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, because of this person, and the things that were said, it has caused a lot of pain and a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of tears between me and my daughter. My daughter and I actually are very, very close, love each other very, very much. And the things that have happened are just, they're just crazy, and they never should have happened to start with. So anyway, I decided I was going to do my best to undo the damage that person number one did to person number two and person number three. And so I decided to just, even if what person number one said was true, I was just going to forgive it. And I already said, I forgive, but how could I possibly trust person number three anymore after what person number one told me about person number three? So yes, I forgive, but then I don't trust. You see what I'm saying? I know you know. So, I had a conversation with God one day. I've had a conversation with God almost every day about this. And not knowing the truth, still believing a lie, I said to the Lord, a mother. I feel responsible for letting, especially my children, know if they're doing something I think is wrong. If I think it's a sin, if I think it's going to keep them from going to heaven, if I think it's going to cause them pain in their life, if I think it's going to cause any kind of issues, I have always felt like I should just go right to them and I should just tell them right to their face. You were doing this wrong, you were doing that wrong, you were doing this wrong, you were doing that wrong. And I felt like I was supposed to do that. Because how can you say you love someone and let them hurt themselves? I mean, if someone you love is standing on the edge of the cliff and they're about to jump off, you're just going to say, well, just go ahead. I don't want to say anything because you're going to get mad at me, so just go ahead and jump. So that's always been my mindset as a mother. It's more important to tell everybody what they're doing wrong, even my friends. My friends will tell you, oh yeah, she's that way with us too. And I asked the Lord, I said, is it okay for me to just love my children without ever mentioning anything that I might disagree with, anything that I might think they're doing that they shouldn't be doing? Is it okay for me to just love them and just overlook that stuff? And the Lord said to me, you are not responsible for the decisions your grown children make. I'm like, say what? This was just like a couple weeks ago this happened. And it came to me, you are not responsible for the decisions your grown children make. You raised them, you took them to church, they know the Lord, they're Christians, they were saved when they were children, they know right from wrong. You've got to let them go. They're on their own now. All you have to do is love them. Oh, did that ever set me free? I mean, it's like I got a get out of jail card. It's just, I was telling Terry, we were talking in the driveway, I walked up to the mailbox, and our mailbox is way up the hill and so is hers, so we met at the mailbox and we talked for a long time yesterday, and she has the same situation with her children. But she realized this a long time ago. She said, Joy, I raised them right, and they know how I feel, and they know how Doug feels, and she said, I just decided a long time ago, I'm just going to love them and let them know how much I love them. So, and I'm not saying, please, please, please don't think my kids are into anything crazy or nuts or anything like that. None of that, no, no. This is small things, small things. But remember, I was told a lie. Remember, I was told a lie. And so I didn't even go to them and say, how dare you say this? How dare you do this? I just decided, stay away from them. You can't trust them. They don't love you. So whatever the reason is that the devil has put in the way of your relationship between you and your kids, let it go. Let it go. Just forgive it. Love them anyway. I mean, if you have no relationship with your kids at all, how can that ever help them? They're just going to think, oh, my mother can't stand me. She thinks everything I do is wrong. She's always correcting me. She's just a bully. My stepdaughter says I'm a bully. So I have had to work on learning not to be a bully. My children are grown-ups. I have no right to tell them what they can and cannot do, and I have no right to correct them. So I stand corrected and ask anyone out there who I may have hurt, please forgive me. Okay, you want to know about my awesome, amazing visit with my little, super talented chick that knits? I know you do, I know you do. Now, growing up, Tammy always wanted to be in everything. She wanted to be in this at school, she wanted to be in that at school, she wanted to join gymnastics, she went a couple times, decided she hated gymnastics, she wanted to be in pep club, we bought her the uniform, got her all the stuff, got her to pep club, she went a couple times, decided she hated it, didn't want to go there anymore. And so, I just never thought she would stick to any outside activity. You know, she is a nurse. She graduated as a RN and has been a nurse for many, many years, and she's a fabulous, fabulous nurse. Made really, really good grades, super smart, high grades on all the tests, that sort of thing. But when it came to outside activities, okay, so let me see, did she have any other hobbies? I can't remember if she had any other hobbies. I don't think she really did. I think she just was nursing. She just was nursing and, you know, being a wife and being a mom, and she didn't really have any hobbies. But a couple years ago, it hasn't been that many years ago, maybe 5. She'll have to correct me. I bet it says here. But anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. But anyway, she decided to take a knitting class. And Hobby Lobby had knitting classes. They sell yarn and they have knitting classes. So she decided she was going to take a knitting class. How old was she? My goodness, I'm 18 years older than she is and I'm 70, so figure it out. She's 50 something, 52. So she figures she's still nursing and she decides she's going to take a knitting class. She takes the knitting class and it's like somebody pushed her into a lake. She just immediately became addicted to it. She absolutely loved it. She's a very fast learner anyway. Very fast learner. And she just took to it like a fish to water. And she was nursing, and nursing is a complicated job. She was in a really bad wreck back then, and she broke part of her neck and had to have some serious surgeries and suffered a lot of pain. And so anyway, this knitting really calmed her down, and it was very relaxing to her. And so then, not that long ago, she took another class having to do with yarn, only it was how to dye yarn. And I remember she and Boo Bear's wife, she bought the class for Boo Bear's wife, her name was Lauren, and she bought the class for Lauren for her birthday because Lauren loved to knit too. And so they took this dyeing class. Well, Tammy absolutely loved that. So she went home, she started practicing dyeing yarn herself, and then she started a kind of a little yarn business in her garage. She started dyeing yarn in her garage, and she started selling it on Etsy, and it sold like hotcakes. And so it got to where she had to move all of her furniture out of her living room because she had so much yarn. It was taking over the whole house. So she decided, like maybe a year ago, to open a brick and mortar store in Edmond. Now Edmond is this quaint little town. It used to be just this little town, but it's grown and grown and grown and grown. But the center of it is still there. You know how old downtowns are with the little quaint shops, and they're all in a row, and little brick streets and stuff. So she rented a property down there, and she started her yarn business. So why am I holding this? Edmond just loves her store, and they have just, I don't know who are the authorities in Edmond, the mayor, I don't know who, but anyway, the people who are in charge of Colin told her how much they like her and how much they enjoy her store being there. So this is an Edmond magazine. It says the publication of Edmond Life and Leisure. Her store is in Edmond, Oklahoma. And this is a magazine that comes out special in the spring. And it's called At Home Edmond. And it's a little magazine that just came out recently. And notice on the cover, there are daisies. Daisies on the cover. So, who do you think's written about in this magazine that just came out? Who do you think? My very own chick that knits. So let me show you. It's so exciting. I'm so proud of her. I can't even get over it. I'm like, I can't believe you haven't given up on this. Aren't you tired of it? Aren't you quitting? It's just amazing. It's just wonderful. I guess we just never did find her thing when she was growing up. So look here, I'm going to show you the pages. Her husband has a daughter. She's beautiful. Her name is Bailey. And When they got married, Bailey was, I don't know, 13, 14. And Bailey's an absolutely beautiful girl. And Bailey lives in Wyoming now. But she and Tammy are very close. And Bailey is one of these super, super talented people. And she can draw. And so she drew, I don't know if Tammy asked her to draw it or if she just drew it. She drew this caricature of Tammy several years ago. And Tammy used it to put labels on her hand-dyed yarn. And so she's been using this caricature. And then she started a YouTube channel, maybe a blog. I don't know if she started out with a blog or a YouTube channel, but she called it A Chick That Knits. Now she wanted to be A Chick That Knits, K-N-I-T-S, but that was taken by somebody. And every time she tried to use it, they wouldn't let her. And so she had to use a Z on the end of knits instead of S. So she knows how to spell knits. But that's what she wanted to be, so she had to change hers to K-N-I-T-Z. So this is my daughter standing in front of her store. Notice that her logo has daisies on it, and her caricature is in the middle of it. So that is my Tammy. I call her Timmy Tam Bimmy Bam Bip Bop Bappy Wappy. That's what I called her when she was little. That's Tammy. That's my chick that knits. And that is the front of her store. She's got two big windows on the outside of it where she changes the display 4 times a year for the seasons. Two great big corner windows. It's just a lovely place. I wish I had thought to take some pictures, but duh. I was so excited to be there. Have my daughter loving me. I could just barely breathe. So that's the front of her store. And then here you can see this is part of what's in her window, and it's some samples of her yarn made up into some scarves. Hope that's showing up good. Then let's see what's on the next page so I can show you her yarn. Yeah, here's some of her yarn. So this is, they went into her store to take pictures, and this is a picture of some ladies. They've all got their mask on. But every Thursday night, her store is open for people to come, and they can come in there and they can just knit together. They don't have to buy their stuff there, but they can buy their stuff there, but they just come and they sit and they knit. And so you can see the people at a table doing that, and then you can see Tammy's yarn. It's hand-dyed yarn. And she actually charges less for it than other shops do. And it's just gorgeous. Next time I go there, I'll do a video in the store. In fact, she's got a video in the store you can watch. You can see here, behind this scarf, you can see Tammy's yarn hanging on the display. Okay? Let's see what it says about her. I haven't even gotten to the exciting part yet, you guys. Let's see. According to Tammy, owner of A Chick That Knits, today's knitting is not your grandmother's knitting, and she's not spinning any yarns. I had a mother-in-law who knitted darling matching cardigans for my children, and she did. I saved them. I had a great big Sterilite box full of these darling sweaters that her mother-in-law used to make for my grandkids. When I became a grandmother, I wanted to give the same things to my grandchildren. I took a knitting class at Hobby Lobby, and I was off. That was 10 years ago. See me? Time. 10 years ago. Yes. A year into their retirement, Tammy retired as a nurse. A year into her retirement, she and her husband, a retired firefighter, decided they were not the leisure types. After visiting several fiber festivals, and she did, they went long distances to fiber festivals. She decided to try hand-dyeing yarn. She soon became a dyed and wool devotee. See, started an Etsy shop. Yeah. So, that's my daughter, and that's what she does. And I could not be more proud of her. But guess what? Guess what? I'm going to show you some pictures. I was so excited. And Tammy has 2 little employees. I mean, you know, they're like 50 years younger than we are, or 60. But they're both just adorable. Let me see. One's name was Carrie and one's name was Megan. And Tammy wasn't there. Jerry and I showed up at the store and Tammy wasn't there. She was still at home. These two girls treated us like we were royalty. They were so nice to us. And I called Tammy and Tammy said, "Oh, Mom, let me take a shower and I'll be down there." So anyway, when she got there, the two girls, Carrie and Megan, said, "Do you want us to take your picture? Do you want us to take your picture?" Well, hello, you know what I said. Duh, do ducks fly? So anyway, I have some pictures that her very nice employees took. So I'll put those right here. That was just the most healing day. I just felt so loved and so forgiven, and oh, it was just luscious, just luscious. But as if that wasn't enough. As if that wasn't enough for God to do. I'm sorry. I had a feeling this would happen. As if that wasn't enough. You know, Jerry and I sold our house there recently. We had a house in Edmond. We lived 10 miles away from where Tammy lives. But somebody told us they wanted to buy it, and we said, okay, fine, and we sold our house. And that was like almost a year ago now. So we don't have a home there anymore, so we can't just go up there and stay. So Tammy, we left. Jerry had to go to the doctor, and we left, and something like that. And she texted me. And she said, "Mom, I have 2 rooms in my house that I'm not using." And she said, one has a desk in it and a couch in it. And she said, "I would just love it if you would set up a sewing room there." She said, "I would just love it if you would set up a sewing room there." I said, "What?" I said, "Tammy, you need those rooms, you need those for your guests." And she said, no, we haven't done. We have 2 other guest rooms. We don't need it. You're welcome to do anything you want to with it. You can bring whatever machines and do whatever you want to. And you can come whenever you want to. She just texted me 10 minutes ago and asked me when I wanted to come and do it. So, I just wanted you to know I have an extremely talented daughter. And I love her very, very much. And there's going to be a lot of knitting going on. And I'm going to learn how to crochet. I already know how to crochet, but I don't know how to crochet real good. And I have this magazine I've been saving forever. And I hope I didn't throw it away, thinking I would never get a chance to make it. But somewhere around here, I have a magazine that has a vest on it, a knitted vest that I want to make. And so I'm going to go up there. And one of her employees, Megan, teaches crochet. And of course, Tammy teaches knitting, and I guess the other girl does too. But I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. I just can't thank God enough for what He's done and how He has torn down the walls that the devil put up. So, praise His name forevermore. But if you want to know more about my Tammy, I'll put a link right there below to a video she made with a friend of hers, some guy that sells yarn. She was trying to sell other people's yarn too or something, I don't remember, but anyway, he's some yarn guy. And they did a video together showing her shop. So I'll post that down below if you'd like to watch my daughter on YouTube. All right, I think it's called Okay Tammy. And that's not even all. There's more. There's even more I have to tell you about that trip that Jerry and I took. But it has to be its own video or it would just be way too long. I'll try to tell you that exciting story tomorrow. But bye for now.